You are looking live at Coach Eric Williams at the Jaguar Nation Show. This is your host, Jeff Breedlove, coming to you here at the conclusion of a regular season where the Jaguars closed out a 20-0 victory over the Riverwood Raiders this past weekend at Grady Stadium. Coach, this was a historic season for our Jaguars.
Yes, it was. This season, like you said, this has been a historical season for us. We had an opportunity to go out and make history. Our previous best record in the whole school was 7-3 in school history, should I say. We made history by going 8-2. So now the class of 2018 holds the record as a senior group that led their team to 8 wins and 2 losses.
And Coach, part of what's so special about that, this is only our second year in 5A ball.
That's right. After making the jump from AAA, where we made the playoffs 2 consecutive years as a 4 seed, we picked ourselves up by the bootstrap. We struggled last year, and now we're in 5A, and we made the playoff as a 2nd seed. Coach,
a lot of that credit I know goes to the players. That's what you would say, but a lot of us in Jaguar Nation know it goes to you and your coaching staff. And on behalf of all the stakeholders, all the fans, I want to say thank you for your leadership, Coach.
Oh, we really appreciate that, Jeff.
So let me bring up, Coach. I know this win a little bit bittersweet for you too, because it was senior night.
Yes, it was senior night, and we had to try to go out there and send our seniors off, in a resounding way. All of my kids mean a lot to me, and just to see some of those guys go across that field at halftime with their parents, we just wanted to thank them from the bottom of our hearts for all of the sacrifice and the leadership that they have displayed throughout their career here at Maynard Jackson High School.
Well, it's been a privilege to watch those seniors on the sideline. I know they had those cool posters made for them, and we've highlighted them on social media. And whether they play another game of football or not, you've given them a foundation to be winners in life, and we appreciate their service for the team, and I hope the seniors know how much Jaguar Nation appreciates them.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's jump right into this Riverwood game. As we said, it was a shutout, Coach. I believe that's the
second shutout in the last 3 games.
That's quite an accomplishment. I have said continuously on this show that the Maynard Jackson Jaguar defense is for real, and that's proven itself to be the case.
Yes, and all of the kudos should go to our defensive coordinator, David Johnson. He has done a tremendous job with our guys and putting our guys in position. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're flying around to the ball, and they're carrying our team week in and week out.
No question about that, Coach. Let's look at the offense here. We had 3 touchdowns. Stanley Ryan, number 28. Tell us about that one, Coach.
Well, Charles Daniels came in to give us a big spark. Charles broke off 40, 50-yard run right before the half, and then he stayed in on the drive, threw a couple of passes, and then, it was 3rd and short in the red zone, but we were running out of time in the 2nd quarter. So what we did a play-action pass and hit big Stanley Ryans out of the backfield for a touchdown pass.
That was great. That was a great drive, Coach. Marquise Colsey, number 1, yet again another big touchdown. Tell us about that one.
Another big touchdown for our guy Marquise Colsey. He's showing up week in and week out and playing big for us at the receiver position. He scored, I think, his 13th touchdown this year. This time, our Roderick Hammonds was in the game, and it was the second drive of the second half where we got the ball, went down the field, and then we hit Colsey out of the backfield on the pass, and he scored a touchdown.
Now, our 3rd touchdown of the night is one for the highlight reel. I've watched it a couple of times this weekend, and it was featured. First, let me just stop and say we want to thank our friends at Fox 5, High Five Sports, for coming out and covering this game. I know it was good for both programs to get that kind of exposure, so thank you, High Five Sports. But boy, they sure highlighted this next touchdown we're going to talk about, Coach. Tell us about that punt block.
Yes, we've been watching them, or we were watching them all game as far as their punt protection, and we had them pinned deep. Our defense has done an outstanding job of getting them off the field, so we decided to go for the punt block. And Justin Brunson went through there and got his hands up, blocked that punt, and DeMonte Crosby recovered the fumble for a touchdown.
I'll tell you, that was an exciting play, Coach. I mean, it's just a great, great play. And again, it goes back to our point that the defense is for real, Maynard Jackson.
Yes, sir. Defense is definitely for real.
You called out Charles Daniel on that run earlier. You know, you said last week he's the quarterback of the future. I mean, tell you what, Jaguar Nation, we are going to miss Roderick when he graduates, but we've got some folks lined up next year that are going to keep things happening at Jaguar Nation.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's turn to defense. And let me tell everybody, you can see we're in the weight room this week, and your host doesn't have his normal desk. It works so well in the gym, but looking at this defensive list, Coach, you know, we've already talked about how strong they play, but we seem to always call out Kobe Dixon in almost every game, Coach.
Yes, Kobe Dixon, once again, is a force to be reckoned with on the defensive line.
He's just, you know, he's a pleasure to watch. And I tell you, you're a scout out there, you're not looking at Kobe Dixon, you are not seeing one of the best defensive players in the state of Georgia.
That's right.
Now, we had a freshman step up this week. We haven't called his name, but he's number 56 on the team, Chris Newby. Coach, tell
yes,
me what he did.
Chris Newby stepped up big for us this week. We had a couple of guys go down with injuries from the Decatur game, and Chris Newby stepped up at nose guard, and I think he came away with like 6 tackles and 2 sacks.
You know, that's exciting to hear, Coach, because you have told us all season long on the Coach Eric Williams Jaguar Nation show about the depth, the strength of depth.
Yes.
And here's evidence of that.
Yes, sir. Newby stepped up, and I want to also take time out to mention this other kid who's, I think in the past 2 games, he has like 4 or 5 sacks. Quentin Davis. He's been outstanding for us at the pony position, where we've had linebackers who were also out due to injury. He has stepped up for us these past couple of games and have played outstanding football for us.
And of course, growing on me, one of my favorite players, number 44, Lentavius Tucker, and linebacker. Seems like we talk about him a lot too, Coach.
Yes, Lentavius is kind of embracing the leadership role as far as being the anchor of that defense in the middle. He plays the middle linebacker position, and now his play has really stepped up 100%. He's making a lot of tackles, putting people in position, putting people in place. If we don't have enough men out there on the field, he'll call a timeout in a minute. He's really becoming the leader that we need him to be.
That's exciting to hear. Now let's talk about the defensive backfield as a unit, Coach. I mean, they're becoming very stingy. I don't think we had an interception this week, but they played a great game, didn't they, Coach? Yes,
and from my recollection, I think that Riverwood only completed probably 3 or 4 passes all night. So we play a lot of man coverage, a lot, you know, and we mix it up a lot, and we ask a lot of our defensive backs, and they all play a brilliant game every week and week out for the past several weeks since we've been on this win streak.
Now let's talk about our special teams just for a minute. Once again, Marquise Colsey had a strong effort as punter.
Yes, Marquise Colsey did a good job. I think he's up to about 35, 40 yards a punt. You know, he does a lot of directional punting for us. He's just been doing a great job.
Because I remember one of the punts, we pinned him very deep.
Yes, we pinned him very deep. We had
inside
good
the 5, as I recall.
Inside the 5, we have pretty good coverage. The guys ran down in their lanes. The guy from Riverwood didn't want to mess with the ball, and you know the Jaguars down the ball inside the red zone.
And you know our kicker Jack Breelove didn't get any chances at field goal this week, but he had some touchbacks on kickoff.
He did a dynamic job for us as far as placing that ball in the end zone. You know, and if they can't return the ball, that means they have to go 80 yards. And that sets our defense up and puts us in pretty good field position as far as what we want to do defensively.
Yeah, I saw that young man. He so desperately wanted to return a couple of them, and he was a little bit annoyed they kept going in the end zone.
Right.
But let's look ahead, Coach. It's such a special moment to say we are in the playoffs.
That's right. It's playoff season. Win or go home.
It means a lot to Jaguar Nation that these young men have put themselves in a position to be in this situation, hosting a playoff game. Let's talk about that. It's going to be a Saturday night home game.
Yes.
That's Saturday, November 11th. 7 p.m. is when toe meets leather at Grady Stadium.
That's right, and we need everyone in Jaguar Nation to come out and help represent. You know, we had to fight so hard to get home field advantage, and now we really need to have a home field advantage. So we really need everyone in our student body, our stakeholders, our community, to come out and be very supportive of us on Saturday afternoon.
Well, we really do. And again, that's a 7 p.m. Toe Meets Leather at Grady Stadium. But now we're going to play a team from DeKalb County, Coach. They're in Region 5, and they're Miller Grove, the Miller Grove Wolverines.
Yes.
Proud organization out there. Tell us a little bit about this great team.
Well, the Miller Grove Wolverines, we didn't really know who we were going to play until the games on Friday were complete. And Miller Grove went out and defeated Chamblee in a resounding way, 56-6. So that solidified them as being the 3rd seed. And we welcome them. They have a lot of good athletes, a lot of speed from what I could tell on film. And they have a couple of D1 prospects, and one, I think, who's committed to University of Georgia.
Well, I know that it's going to be an exciting game because the fact is these are two good teams that have earned the right to be here. And I know that if Jaguar Nation shows up, they're going to see two good teams playing a good football game.
Oh, that's right. They're going to see a knockdown, drag out because I think it has been a while since Miller Grove has been in the playoffs. And, we were on a 1-year hiatus last year. Now we're back. And now it's an excellent opportunity for both of us to get a win in the playoffs. So it's going to be a tough dog fight Friday night.
It is going to be a good game. That's Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
November 11th, 7 p.m. And Coach is absolutely right. I know a lot of folks watch this show. A lot of folks follow us on social media. If you have not been to a game this year, this game is not the high price that it was at Mercedes Stadium. This is going to be an affordable game. It's going to be an exciting game. You got something that's maroon or gold or gray or black, you need to put it on and you need to show up and show out and support the Jaguars.
That's right. We need everyone out. Everyone out, Jaguar Nation. We need you there. We need you to be loud, and we need you to be that 12th man that's going to help us bring this victory home.
Well, Coach, we as always want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, especially here in playoff week, to bring us the Coach Eric Williams Jaguar Nation show. Again, a bittersweet senior night, but ending on a shutout, an 8-2 historic season, and going into the playoffs. Coach, what do you got to tell us?
It's just been a special year for us this year, and just sending these guys off with an 8-2 record, the best record in school history, it's just been overwhelming for me for all of the great things that have happened for us this year. And we really just need you all to come out and be very supportive this week and moving forward, especially this Saturday night at 7 p.m. at Grady Stadium.
Well, listen, we're on social media, guys. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're on Twitter. Whichever one works for you, we are there. There's all kinds of special things we put up only for Jaguar Nation on those sites, insight from the sidelines at practice during the week. We hope you'll sign on this week, and we hope you'll follow this team this week as they go through playoff week. Coach, take us out.
MJJ all day.
Thank you, Coach.